Hello everyone, back tuning into Snowwatch. So we're going to see what the situation is from Christmas Day through to sort of 28th of December in terms of the possibility of some snow falling across parts of the British Isles during that period. Now, it's not going to be widespread snow, certainly not on Christmas Day. There will be a little bit up across the northern parts of England into south some parts of Scotland. Otherwise, it'd be too mild for much in the way of snow then. We may get a little bit more as we go from Boxing Day into the 27th. That's really when the focus is. Maybe one or two places even get a covering of snow, potentially. So I'll tell you through everything that's going on during this period for Snowwatch in a second. Just say that today's first video is on the homepage and it looks at weather next week to 10 days. Also includes CFSV2 for the next month as well. Have a look at that and see what you think. No weekend forecast today. It will be released tomorrow. We'll do the weekend forecast on Christmas Eve as usual, and we'll cover the full Christmas and New Year period. And then on Christmas Day, we've got the historic video, which I'll talk about at the end of Snowwatch. But let's get on with Snowwatch. We're going to begin with the facts charts. These charts are the human interpretations of models by forecasters at the UK Met Office. This is the facts chart for midnight on Christmas Day, but we're starting with tonight. So most parts of the country are within this broad warm sector, but we have got these cold fronts out across the north and west of Scotland. Behind those cold fronts, but we're introducing colder air from the northern part of the Atlantic. But at midnight on Christmas Day, actually most parts will be very mild, and Scotland will have outbreaks of rain along those cold fronts. That's how things look by midday on Christmas Day. So very mild for much of England and Wales. Then we've got this band of rain coming through Scotland and down into northern parts of England. Behind that, it turns brighter but colder through northern parts of Scotland and into the northwest of Northern Ireland. Now, as these fronts slow down as they move southwards across the country during the course of Christmas Day afternoon and evening particularly, they're going to sort of come to a bit of a standstill for a time across northern England. And on the back edge, we may get a little bit of snow, might get a little bit of a cold undercut through southern parts of Scotland and down into northern England. That situation at midnight on Christmas night, so this is sort of midnight Christmas Day to Boxing Day, and the cold fronts then are swinging southwards eastwards across England and Wales, taking heavy rain southwards and eastwards with them. Excuse me, and then we'll find this little trough feature maybe bringing some wintry showers into northern and western parts of Scotland too. That's how things look on Boxing Day. That's midday on Boxing Day, when we're under a very weak transient ridge within cold air as well. The next troublemaker is this area of low pressure just out to the southern tip of Ireland at midday on Boxing Day, because during the course of Boxing Day afternoon and evening, that's going to push eastwards across central and southern parts of England and Wales, potentially bringing a mix of heavy rain, but also on the northern edge, as it engages with cold air, there could be something wintry happening as well. As far as we can go with facts charts is to midday on Wednesday, and that low pressure is actually moving away into the Low Countries, and the winds are returning into the north again. If I just scroll down, notice all these weather fronts waiting out in the Atlantic, waiting in the wings to head in beyond the 27th and try and keep the very unsettled weather going. This is how the GFS is picking things up for midday on Christmas Day. So that's where the position of the cold fronts is going to be through northern and western parts of the country. And then as we go through to midnight on Boxing Day, so midnight Christmas night to Boxing Day, that low pressure is moving away into the North Sea, taking the cold fronts with it and introducing those cold northerly winds. Boxing Day is quite a cold day, but we've got this area of low pressure out to west of Ireland, and that moves in during the course of Boxing Day afternoon and evening, push across southern parts of the country, taking heavy rain into the south. But on the northern edge, because we've got this cold air that's pushed down from the north, there could be some wintry conditions, and then that low pressure by midday on the 27th is moving away into the Low Countries, and again that turns the winds back into the north once again. So northerly winds take us into the 28th of December, by which time the Atlantic is starting to have a go at coming in, so something could happen on the 28th, but eventually that one does introduce a milder push of air from off the Atlantic. But you'll notice from the elongation of the ice bars is a little bit of a stall going on as that front is trying to get across the country. This is a precipitation type forecast from the weatheroutlook.com based on that GFS run. We're starting off at 6 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Day. Heavy rain through much of Ireland into southwestern parts of Scotland as well. Through the course of the morning, it's very wet up across southern parts of Scotland, down to Northern Ireland, into Northern England too. Now, this is 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but it is starting to turn some of that rain to snow across southern parts of Scotland, particularly around the borders and going down into the far north of Northern England. There's some quite heavy snowing with that as well. Purple colours there indicating the potential covering of snow around the borders of Scotland. Probably that's an elevation. I would have thought rain is more likely at lower levels. There comes the rain pushing across England and Wales overnight, sort of late Christmas night into the early hours of Boxing Day, by which time we are seeing a little bit of snow turning up over the higher ground of northern England as well. By the time you get through 6 o'clock in the morning on Boxing Day, wintry showers are generally peppering the coast, but many places are dry, maybe a little bit of ice after all that rain earlier on. And then through the course of Boxing Day afternoon, here comes the next batch of rain in towards Ireland, Wales, southwestern England by 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Boxing Day. And then that pushes eastwards across England and Wales overnight, sort of Boxing Day into 27th. Some bright colours in there, indicating some heavy rain. And on the northern edge, you'll notice for North Wales, parts of the North Midlands into southern parts of northern England, that is beginning to turn to snow. And that gets a little bit more widespread through the early hours of the 27th. We've got some back-edge snow appearing there across Wales into parts of the North and the West Midlands too. And then that pushes south and eastwards. So this is 9 o'clock in the morning on the 27th, where it is showing snow, probably mostly light, probably not amounting to too much, but maybe enough to produce a bit of a dusting. In places, a band of snow is moving southwards and eastwards across the Midlands, and that actually could get in towards the southeast through the course of the afternoon of Wednesday the 27th. Eventually it gets out of the way, and then we're back to wintry showers around the coast. Most places dry, probably frosty as well. And then into the 28th, we have another go at pushing wet weather in from off the Atlantic. That one also struggling and maybe producing something wintry on its leading edge. This is high-res arpege model, so this is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Christmas Day, and I'll just run you through, and you'll see that heavy rain pushes across much of England and Wales, but there is a suggestion round the borders of Scotland towards northern England of something a bit wintry happening there on Christmas afternoon against Main and evening. Again, it's mainly over high ground at elevation that we have the risk of some wintry conditions across northern parts of England. That takes us into a cold start to Boxing Day, and then here comes the rain up from the southwest during the course of Boxing Day afternoon and evening. And again, that is suggesting there is something wintry going on there, particularly through parts of Wales and the Midlands during the course of Boxing Day night into the 27th of December, before that clears out of the way, and then Wednesday 27th actually just has those wintry showers peppering the coast. As far as we can go with the high resolution Euro 4 model is to midday on Christmas Day. So this south is looking at 6 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Day, just wet across Scotland and Northern Ireland with outbreaks of rain. And then this is midday, as far as we can go with Euro 4 from website Weather Online, is to midday Christmas Day, where we've got outbreaks of rain still across southern parts of Scotland down into these Irish Sea sort of areas. So we need to wait another day, really, to see what the snow potential is during Boxing Day afternoon and Christmas Day afternoon and evening, I should say, for sort of the borders of Scotland and northern parts of England. WRF is looking like that. This is midday on Christmas Day, very wet across much of southern Scotland down into the far north of northern England. Through the course of the afternoon into the evening, this is 7 o'clock in the evening on Christmas Day. Some of that rain is turning to snow there across, again, particularly focusing around the borders of Scotland and down into the far northeast of England. So if you're in that sort of zone, you might get some snow during the afternoon or evening on Christmas Day. Further south, that's just a band of rain swinging across the country. That takes into a cold day of wintry showers around the coast to start Boxing Day. And then here comes the wet weather. As far as we can go with WRF, this is to 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Boxing Day, where the rain is just starting to get in towards Ireland and southwest England. So again, for sort of Boxing Day 27th with the WRF, we need to wait another day or so. And then finally, we've got the ECMWF. This is how the very latest, just updating as I'm doing the video, this is how the very latest ECMWF is looking. This is midday on Boxing Day. There's a low pressure that's got the cold fronts along it, that's introducing the colder air late on Christmas Day. Most parts of the country actually mild air. On Christmas Day, the transition could give something wintry around the borders of Scotland into the far northeast of England. That's midday Boxing Day, when that low pressure is out of the way. We've got these cold northerly winds coming in. The low pressure heading in from the Atlantic is a little bit further south with the ECMWF compared to the GFS. So that would imply that as the low pressure swings in across the south, the snow risk will probably be further south as well. We're going to have a look at the snow risk with the ECMWF in a moment. That's how things look by the 27th of December. The winds have gone back into the north, so cold air surges southwards. And then to the 28th, we're trying to bring the Atlantic back in, but it's coming up against that cold air, and it is struggling. So 28 to 29th, there's a bit of a struggle going on here to get these milder winds across the country. That might be another suggestion of some snow happening there sometime around the 28th to the 29th, before eventually by Saturday the 30th, the southwesterly winds are being reintroduced. I'll just show you what the snow potential is with that ECMWF run. This is website weather.us. You can find a link to weather.us on the links page. So we're starting on Christmas Day. This is midday Christmas Day. Hardly any snow anywhere across the country. But through the course of the afternoon, we do find the snow area beginning to expand. And again, particularly around the borders of Scotland, the far south of Scotland, into Northern England. Don't be too impressed by the snow depth here. This is a little bit wrong. This really just use these charts to give you the suggestion of where the snow is likely to fall based on the ECMWF, but it does go over the top with the depth, so don't take that seriously. But you see that the snow risk is for southern parts of Scotland, particularly around the borders, and then going down into the far north of England. This is by the evening, I think, on Christmas Day. Then we go through into Boxing Day, and we find, again, don't take that bright pink area too literally. That's really deep snow cover, but I think the model is wrong in having that much snow cover. We've gone into Boxing Day now. Midday Boxing Day shows that we do have the risk of some snow cover across parts of southern Scotland into northern England, albeit it won't be to that sort of depth. Wintry showers are suggested around the coast through the afternoon and into the evening. Now here comes that low pressure, and you'll notice that the snow risk is much further south here than what we saw with the GFS. So the snow risk is particularly around and just to the north of the M4, so to the north of London and Bristol, up towards the Midlands. Probably not much farther north than the Midlands, but in that zone between London and, let's say, London and Northampton, or London and Birmingham, there is a risk of some snow there through the course of Boxing Day afternoon and Boxing Day evening. Further south of that, it would mostly just be rain to the south of the M4. And then I'll run you into, so we've gone beyond Boxing Day and we're heading up to the 28th and the 29th. And what you'll see happening is that very gradually that snow area is starting to expand a little bit across other parts of England and Wales. Again, that's as we're struggling to push weather fronts across the country from the 28th to 29th, so there might be a little bit more snow coming through then before eventually the southwesterly winds do re-establish and all of the snow goes away. So it looks like for Christmas Day the snow risk is late in the day through the afternoon and evening through southern parts of Scotland, particularly around the borders, and I would have thought particularly at elevation. Down at lower levels, you may struggle to get much snow, but you might get a few flakes anyway, even at lower levels through southern parts of Scotland. And then towards the evening, that transfers down more towards northeastern parts of England. Anywhere else is just like to have rain during the course of Boxing Day, during the course of Christmas Day, and into the early hours of Boxing Day. And then the second half of Boxing Day, we bring that next area of low pressure in from off the Atlantic. It engages the cold air, and we could see snow on the northern edge. Now, we have got a discrepancy between the GFS and the ECM as to how far north that low pressure is going to get. It's critical because the northern edge is quite starkly different between the two models. So on the GFS scenario, the northern edge of that low pressure is sort of North Wales, the North and West Midlands into the far south of northern England, whereas the ECMWF scenario actually brings excuse me, that the northern edge of that low pressure and the snow is quite a lot further south in towards parts of the South Midlands, and maybe as far south as sort of the Chilterns and North London. So it's kind of similar to the snow event that we had on the 10th of December. There's a lot of variation between the northern extent of the low pressure with that one. And it looks like we may be off again with more uncertainty in a similar type way from late Boxing Day through to 27th of December. And we'll know more when this gets into the time frame of the high resolution models. It's just outside the time frame of the Euro 4 and the WRF. So I think we're going to have to wait and see another day or so. Right, that's brought you up to date. I'm going to go and have a good cough. Tomorrow it's a weekend forecast covering the full Christmas and New Year period. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching.